Well, good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. Today is November the 2nd. I'm going to do your spiritual principle a day in a meditation. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our H.O.O.D recovery services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. So, how is November 2nd going for you? This is a shout out to my nephew whose birthday is today. I'm excited. I'll be in touch with you later. I know you're listening. Okay, let's go ahead and get into that meditation. It's early yet, so I have an exciting gift for you when you wake up this morning. These podcasts will already be posted for most of you out there instead of waiting. Okay, November 2nd. Being vigilant in the here and now. We must be willing to do whatever is necessary to recover. Let's enlarge that a little bit, okay? We must be willing to do whatever is necessary to recover. Basic text, chapter 9, just for today, living the program. I always remind myself, yesterday's recovery won't keep me clean today. A self-described chronic relapser shared as they celebrated a major milestone. Vigilance, right here, right now, has been key for me, they explained. I learned the hard way that the real work of recovery is that I have to be willing to do whatever's necessary. And I need to take time to be still and figure out what that is at any given moment. As spiritual principles go, vigilance is kind of a rock star. It's thick with meaning, pairing watchfulness with deliberate action. We start our practice of vigilance simply by paying attention. We level up from basic abstinence to a meaningful recovery when we choose to be active in our program, self-reflective and flexible, fine-tuning our approach as our personal program evolves. In the beginning, going to lots of meetings and not taking anything between them has the desired effect. A clear head and a bit of hope make for a great start. It's enough to keep us coming back. Listening to other members' stories makes us want more. A member shared, if I want more out of my program, I've got to put more in. Inspired, we get a sponsor, cultivate a relationship with a higher power, and make steady progress through the steps. As a result, we get more and more comfortable in our skin. Vigilance helps us to settle into our new way of life, applying what we've learned about spiritual principles in our daily affairs. We make time to reflect and fine-tune our approach as we move through life clean. As we remain watchful, we may notice that our emotional life, our thinking, our physical selves, our spiritual condition will still get out of whack from time to time. That's because we're human and because things change. But life's lessons have revealed a process for navigating through our difficulties, regaining focus, and reconnecting with ourselves, those who care about us, and a higher power. I am an addict every day, but today I choose to be a recovering addict. I'm willing to do what's necessary to care for my spiritual condition and stay watchful over my program. Vigilance. This meditation is talking about the spiritual principle of being vigilant in the here and now. And it gives the experience of an individual that was celebrating some major clean time, finally, because they had been a chronic relapser for some time. But what they found out, what they shared, was that they have to have vigilance right here, right now. In learning that spiritual principle is applicable in their lives at any given moment was the key for them so that they could manage to stay clean no matter what. And it's the key for us too, is that we need vigilance in the here and now. As things come to your plate, as things come to you during the course of the day, you need to be vigilant. I need to be vigilant in the here and now. And it starts out talking about yesterday's recovery won't keep us clean today. And while that definitely is true, what I did yesterday still has a benefit towards keeping me clean today. I want to make that clear. That if I had a successful day yesterday in staying clean, that makes my foundation for today more robust. Because all I have to do is reflect on what I did yesterday and at least do that, if not better. Correct? So I want to make sure that I get that out there. That while it won't do the work of keeping you clean today, you still have to make the right decisions. You still have to be vigilant today. It does serve some purpose, even if it was a bad day and you relapsed, right? I'm not condoning it, but I'm not criminalizing it either. Even if you did relapse, today is a new day. And while yesterday's recovery may not have been that great for you, the fact that you are listening to this podcast today and have the ability to make a different decision than you did yesterday, you're already winning the game. You're already winning. Because not using is a moment by moment decision, especially in the beginning. It's vigilance in the here and now. Just like this individual shared. You know, this was a difficult read for me, and I'm not really sure. I feel like I'm a bit flat, a little bit dry. But I was able to press through and read it because sometimes I feel like some of the meditations are more wordier than others. And I do have some speech impediment that I've practiced trying to overcome throughout the years. And you may be able to pick it up. And I know there's been a few people that have made comments to me personally, but it's always in the back of my head about being able to overcome. And when you have your headphones on, you can hear yourself, right? And so I'm always tottering between just do the podcast and get through it and listening for the imperfections, right? And my vigilance is apparent, right? Because I keep showing up and I keep doing the work and I keep getting outside of myself, even though I am very conscientious of the imperfections. But I wanted to say this about how it affects my recovery, right? And I want to make sure you hear me and you hear my heart, is that life is not going to be perfect. We're human. And it mentions that in here. We're human, right? And we need to give ourselves permission to be human. Life is not always going to show up like a perfect batch of cookies. There's going to be imperfection in there, and it may be imperfection within you, but definitely there's going to be imperfection with situations because we cannot control other people, right? So our attitude has to be one of self-acceptance, acceptance of other people, places, and things, and the fact that we are powerless over them. And those things, those people, and those places will come with imperfect circumstances. And our responses will not always be the best application of spiritual principles. But the basic text tells us that when we become rebellious, we don't need to lose faith, right? Or we need not lose faith when we become rebellious, is the exact quote. But you get the essence of it, right? So when we're seeing our imperfections, just like I shared or disclosed with you honestly, right? About the speech. So when we're seeing the imperfections and we're still moving forward, it shows your courage. It shows you're surrendered to a God of your own understanding. It shows your vigilance, your level of commitment, and it strengthens itself the more you do it, the more you practice it, the stronger that faith muscle becomes, the stronger the courage becomes, the stronger the vigilance becomes. And we need it every moment of every day, guys. I don't know if you're watching the news and seeing what's going on, but you can be walking through Walmart's parking lot, going to get your cart and grocery shop, and someone in a fit of rage hit you and take your life. I'm not fear mongering. I'm saying the reality of the world that we live in today is happenstance at best, because we never know what the next person is going to do. So we have to be vigilant in the here and now. And I like the definition that it gives in the second paragraph. It says it's thick, talking about vigilance being a rock star. Second sentence, second paragraph. It's thick with meaning, pairing watchfulness with deliberate action. Vigilance for me means that I'm conscientious, try to pay attention, and respond to what I'm seeing to the best of my ability. Short story. Yesterday, I was walking into the grocery store. We were driving into the parking lot of a grocery store, me and my husband. And there's a young man just sitting. I mean, the entrances, there's only two entrances. And each entrance has, well, there's three, but each entrance, two on one end and one on the other, have stop signs. And they're one-way traffic. There's no two lanes. There's two lanes, but one is going one way and the other one is going in and one is going out. And he's sitting there. And I know from being in recovery and being a recovering addict today, I know the sit at the stop sign, sit at the light high, right? You know it. And he's sitting there looking down into his lap, just sitting there. And so a few longer than 15 seconds longer than what it takes to stop appropriately at a stop sign goes by. And I'm thinking in my mind, you can go around, but there's not really space to move into because cars are coming the other way. Or you can honk your horn gently, not like lay on your horn, but let them know there's people behind you now. And I decided to honk my horn. And so when I honked my horn, matter of fact, he wasn't even really at the stop sign. He was approaching the stop sign. So when I honked my horn, he inched up towards the stop sign and stopped, and his head dropped again. And I'm like, oh my goodness, is he even serious? And I'm not honking the horn again, right? So someone else honks behind me, and he went into a fit of rage. I mean, you would have thought if he had had a gun, he would have shot me and my husband both. He went into an absolute fit of rage. And I told my husband, just be ready, because I don't know if this is going left or if it's going right, but wherever it's going, we're going to go right with it, because that's nonsense. And he parks right where he knows we have to walk past him to get into the store, and gives us the worst glare. And I gave him the glare back. Like, you're totally on camera. Whatever you want to do, we can do it right now, because the way that you're acting is not acceptable. It's not a societal norm that is acceptable anywhere. And I saw all of these different versions of how this could go. But at the end of his glare, something softened in him, because I'm not sure if he thought about his mother. This lady is old enough to be my mom, or she's not afraid. My husband definitely was not afraid, right? And he had intended to sit in the car, but he decided, I'm not sitting in the car and making you walk past this man, right? So he escorted me into the store. And the point that I'm making is that if we are not vigilant, and we are not mindful, and we are not watchful in our everyday lives, things can go left quickly. Do I think I should have responded differently? No, actually, I don't. But I do need to say that it could have gone a totally different way, right? It worked out fine. My car was fine. There was no damage. But you never know who you're going to see, what's going to happen. And we need to be mindful that this life that we have is the life that we've been given. And we need to be vigilant in the here and now, every moment, every day. And it doesn't matter if you're dealing with an imperfection within yourself. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with imperfections with situations. It doesn't matter if you're coming back from a relapse. It doesn't matter if you're a newcomer. This is a spiritual principle that we must get right. Because when we get it right, we will have the most awesome experience of recovery, right? When we understand that we have to be vigilant in the here and now, constantly, there's no breaks, there's no days off. That's when we start to see that we can stay clean and we can recover. I hope that you found that this was a somewhat relevant meditation. I don't ever intend to waste your time with stories, but I do feel like my own personal experience is also important to add when I'm covering these. So hopefully that's not a problem for you. Thank you for listening. I'm going to stop the share here. I want for you to have a beautiful day. I want you to be vigilant in your here and now, and enjoy your day. Enjoy your day on purpose. I believe in you, and I know you can do it. Talk to you soon.